Hello from Berlin. You just hit play on episode 7 of the Berlin Life podcast. Today we're talking about CVs, specifically whether you really need to quantify all of your CV accomplishments, and if that advice actually holds up in every situation. Here's a quick question. Have you ever been told to put numbers on everything you've done at work, even when it doesn't really make sense? Yeah, same for me. Let's unpack that. If you're new here, I'm Cheryl Howard, a Canadian living in Berlin since 2011. I run the Berlin Life, where we help internationals find work and build a life here in Germany. And in case you don't know what I mean, when I say CV, I mean resume. In Germany and across Europe, we commonly say CV instead of resume. So, if you're curious to learn more, head over to theberlinlife.com for free career guides, networking opportunities, and loads of other helpful resources. All right, let's dig in. The $64 million question. Do you really need to quantify absolutely everything on your German CV? This is a question that comes up a lot in my coaching sessions. In my very humble opinion, there's just too much pressure on numbers these days. When you're highlighting your professional experience, it's smart to strike a balance between job responsibilities and accomplishments. Earlier in your career, you might lean more towards listing your responsibilities, but as you gain experience, your accomplishments should naturally take center stage on your CV. Accomplishments don't just show what you did day to day, they highlight who you are as a professional. They can demonstrate qualities that companies truly value, like your willingness to support others, your ability to deliver consistent, high-quality results, and your commitment to continuous learning. I remember reviewing the CV of one of my clients, a senior executive. She had over 20 years of experience and not a single responsibility listed. It was simply a series of powerful achievements. And here's the cool part. Not all of those accomplishments were about increasing sales or cutting costs. And it worked beautifully. In just a few minutes, the reader of the CV could see her depth of experience, her growth over time, and the story of a highly successful leader, the kind of person that any company would want to hire. But here's the thing. A lot of people I coach struggle with identifying and articulating their accomplishments. Many feel like they haven't done anything extraordinary, nothing flashy enough to stand out. And if they do have some accomplishments in mind, they worry about sounding braggy or even dishonest. And that anxiety, it gets worse with the pressure to put numbers on everything. Let's pause for a moment. If you've ever felt unworthy of sharing your achievements, I see you. That feeling of inadequacy is way more common than you think. Sure, I just shared a big example, a powerhouse executive, but accomplishments aren't just reserved for bosses and managers. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, no matter your role, if you reflect on your work, I guarantee you'll find that you're making more of an impact than you realize. And we'll talk more about how to show that off, even without numbers. Now that we've unpacked why accomplishments matter, let's talk about one piece of advice that you hear all the time, and it's all about those quantifiers. By quantifiers, I mean using numbers or metrics to show results, like revenue earned, cases resolved, or bugs fixed. There's a ton of advice out there, most especially on LinkedIn, that says every accomplishment on your CV needs a number. No ands, ifs, buts about it. And honestly, I get it. Quantifiers are powerful. Numbers offer tangible proof of your impact, and they absolutely have a place. Some roles make this easy. Say you're a product manager launching features that directly boost revenues. Then it's easy to tie your work to results. Or maybe you're a sales rep and you can proudly say that you brought in $1 million in revenue over a single quarter. That's amazing. Put those things on your CV. Because in cases like that, the numbers speak for themselves. But as I said in the last episode, there's always a but. Not everything that matters can be measured. Take me, for example. I work as an agile and team coach by day, helping teams improve collaboration and communication. When I finish a coaching engagement, the outcomes are things like improved collaboration or more dependable delivery. High-value results, but not easily quantifiable. It's not like I can say, well, this team is 51% happier because I ran a feedback workshop. But I can say the team now shares feedback more often and collaboration has improved, leading to higher morale and quicker delivery. So yes, if you've got numbers, use them. But if you don't, that's okay too. Focus on describing the impact you made instead, because at the end of the day, what really matters is your impact, whether it's measured in numbers or in meaningful change. Let's flip the script for a moment. We've talked about imposter syndrome, but what about the people who overinflate? Some folks exaggerate their contributions just to slap a number on the page, and that can actually backfire, and it can backfire in serious ways. Let's say a junior software engineer joins a team and helps build a feature that eventually increases company revenue. Great accomplishment, but did that junior engineer single-handedly make the company millions? Probably not. It was a collective effort. The product manager, the UX designer, the founder, many people probably played a role, but not every person can legitimately claim the final business outcome. Saying otherwise overplays your role, disrespects your teammates' work, and honestly, it's just not a good look. So don't be that person. The junior could say other things instead, helped build a new booking widget for the company website that led to a 50% revenue increase in the first 30 days, or implemented a feature improvement for a booking widget that decreased the time customers spend in checkout. As a former hiring manager, I value that type of honesty and specificity. I want to know what you did, not what the team did. So, how do you talk about your accomplishments when you don't have metrics? Let's stick with our junior software engineer example. Here are some non-quantifiable things that they could highlight. Updated the onboarding documentation after noticing outdated info in the company wiki. Started mentoring new team members. Contributed to a hackathon project that helped reduce technical debt. Now let's think about a customer service agent. They could say things like streamlined our ticket escalation process, helping resolve complex cases faster. Created a guide for handling tough complaints, boosting team confidence. Successfully de-escalated tense customer situations, preventing churn and bad online reviews. These things matter, and they matter a lot. So whether you're a junior developer, a customer service pro, or an agile team coach like me, you do work that shows growth, leadership, and initiative. It might not come with tidy numbers, but they still show meaningful and powerful impact. So the next time you're updating your CV, don't feel boxed in by the quantify everything crowd. Think about how you made things better, who you helped and how, what processes you improved, how you created change, solved problems, or just made people happier. And share those things, because numbers are great, but they're not the only way to tell your story. We are all so much more than a set of statistics, and we should own that. Before we wrap, I want to leave you with one final practical tip. And the tip is to start a humble brags list. The concept is pretty simple. Every time you do something cool at work, write it down. Here's what's on mine lately. I recently ran a feedback workshop with some hilarious improv-style practice scenarios. The team loved it, and they had a blast acting it out. Even better, a couple of weeks later, one of the quieter folks on one of my teams, not someone who usually gives compliments, said thank you and shared heartfelt praise. And honestly, I will treasure that moment forever because it felt like I was winning a good medal. Like, that guy hardly ever gives out compliments. So I jotted both of those moments down, and I'll come back to them later. And it helps in more ways than one. Your humble brags list can remind you about how awesome you are when you might not be feeling so confident. It can help you prepare for one-on-ones with your manager, as well as performance reviews. And later, it helps ensure you're not scrambling to remember your accomplishments when it's time to update your CV or prep for interviews. So small habit, big payoff. Don't downplay your work. Don't wait for permission. Your story is worth telling, and your impact deserves to be seen. Phew, that's a wrap on today's episode. Here's what I hope you'll remember. Not all accomplishments need to be quantified on your German CV. Impact matters just as much, and sometimes even more. And no matter your role, your work has value and it's CV worthy. Thanks again for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe. We're not just on Substack. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. Even better, share this episode with a friend or a loved one who's job hunting in Germany. I would also love to hear from you. If you have feedback, especially the nice kind that I can add to my humble brags list, or maybe a special request for a future episode, hit me up. You'll find links to my free CV guides in the show notes, along with a special discount code for my career coaching services. That's all for today, and see you in the next one.